Have you ever stopped to think about what would happen if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? It's the kind of thought that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi thriller. But guess what? It's not just a wild fantasy. In fact, the effects would be catastrophic, and you'd notice them immediately. Imagine this. You're standing there, minding your business, and suddenly, the world around you starts spinning wildly out of control. You'd probably be thrown off your feet and sent careening across the planet at a speed of about 1,000 miles per hour. Yeah, you read that right, 1,000 miles per hour. Pretty intense, right? Now, let's say you somehow manage to survive that first shockwave. What happens next? Buckle up, because things are about to get even crazier. Picture this: gigantic storms, towering waves, and debris flying everywhere. The chaos would be unlike anything you've ever imagined. But believe it or not, what comes next could be even worse. You see, Earth's rotation is responsible for so much more than we realize. From keeping our days at 24 hours to regulating our weather and climate, the spinning of the Earth keeps everything in balance. Without it, well, that's when the nightmare truly begins. Earth's spin and what it does for us. First off, Earth has been spinning since it was formed about 4.5 billion years ago. And for all that time, it's been cruising along smoothly, with nothing in space to slow it down. But the catch is, Earth's rotation is gradually slowing down. What if it just stopped, though? Well, we would see an immediate and pretty terrifying reaction. Let's say you're lounging on a beach near the equator when Earth suddenly stops spinning. You, your beach chair, and all the sand around you would keep moving at a mind-boggling speed of 1,000 miles per hour. If you were lucky enough to avoid being tossed into the sky, you'd be watching everything around you, including cars, animals, and pretty much anything not tied down, hurtling across the surface. But here's the crazy part: you wouldn't get launched into space. Earth's gravity would still be pulling everything down, keeping us tethered to the surface as all this chaos unfolds. It would take some time for friction to slow everything down, but in the meantime, it's like the world's biggest free fall. The poles, a different story. Now, if you happen to be at the North or South Pole, you wouldn't immediately notice that the Earth had stopped spinning. That's because at the poles, your angular momentum is zero. Imagine spinning a basketball on your finger. The spot where your finger touches the ball doesn't move at all, even as the ball spins around it. The same thing would happen to you at the poles. You'd be blissfully unaware of the disaster unfolding everywhere else. But even if you manage to stay upright and survive the initial mayhem, there's still more chaos to come. With the Earth's rotation grinding to a halt, the atmosphere would continue moving at its previous speed. This means global windstorms, winds moving at 1,000 miles per hour. That's faster than the strongest hurricanes. These winds would tear through everything, leveling cities, uprooting forests, and sending debris flying. The aftermath: a new world without rotation. Once the winds start to die down, the real consequences of a non-spinning Earth begin to set in. For one, the oceans, those massive bodies of water we take for granted, would start moving to new positions. With Earth no longer spinning, the water's inertia would send tsunamis and gigantic waves crashing across every continent. These waves would make the ones we've seen in history look like a ripple in a pond. The Earth would briefly become a water world, with waves hundreds of feet high. Not exactly the vacation you had in mind. And if that's not terrifying enough, as the tectonic plates, the massive slabs of the Earth's crust, keep moving, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions would tear through the planet. We'd witness massive destruction as mountains crumble and volcanoes erupt, spewing molten lava and choking the atmosphere with smoke and ash. The changing climate and the end of life as we know it. Let's take a step back and think about what would happen as the world starts to stabilize after the chaos. The worst of the destruction would be over, but now we'd have to deal with the long-term effects. The climate would change dramatically. No more regular weather patterns as we know them. The Earth's spin creates the Coriolis effect, which drives the winds and weather systems. Without that spin, we'd lose hurricanes, but we'd also have to contend with other, far stranger weather patterns. The Earth's oceans would shift towards the poles, creating new massive bodies of water. The equator would experience a sharp drop in sea levels, revealing a supercontinent that circles the Earth's midsection. This land would be barren, lifeless, and likely submerged for millions of years, but life always finds a way. Microbes would be the first to colonize the new land, followed by fungi and lichens. Life would slowly begin to make a comeback. But here's the catch: the Earth's day would no longer last 24 hours. With the rotation halted, the Earth would still orbit the Sun, but now each day would take an entire year to complete. Imagine living through 6 months of intense sunlight, followed by 6 months of darkness. The extreme heat on the day side of the Earth would make it nearly impossible to survive, while the night side would plunge into freezing cold. A nomadic existence for survival. As impossible as it sounds, some humans might survive by adapting to this new, extreme world. Those who are lucky enough to live in the twilight zone, where the sun is always just about to rise or set, might have the best shot. They would have to adjust to the new rhythms of the planet, living like nomads, constantly moving to avoid the extreme temperature shifts. As crazy as this sounds, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But there's still a much bigger issue looming over all of this: the Earth's core. The core creates the planet's magnetic field, protecting us from harmful solar radiation. Without that magnetic shield, Earth would be exposed to intense radiation, slowly frying everything on its surface. Can the Earth stop spinning? You might be wondering, is any of this even possible? Could Earth really stop spinning? The short answer is yes, but it's unlikely. The Earth could gradually slow down over time, thanks to the Moon's gravity. The spin is already slowing, but it's happening so slowly that it won't affect us anytime soon. The Moon's gravitational pull is the main culprit here, causing the Earth to lose a little bit of momentum every year. It's a process that's been happening for billions of years. The future of Earth's rotation. Looking even further into the future, though, the Earth's spin will eventually come to a halt. In about 140 million years, a day will be 25 hours long. And yes, in billions of years, the Earth might completely stop spinning, though by then, the Sun will have expanded and Earth will no longer be habitable. But for now, we're safe. The Earth will continue spinning, keeping us in balance with the universe. What do you think? Pretty wild, right? Earth's spin might seem like something we take for granted, but the consequences of losing it are mind-boggling. If you found this video fascinating, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with anyone who loves a good thought experiment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious. Bye-bye.